And we're going to take you on a walking tour with our guide Judy, who tells us a lot about ancient life, such as how the Romans brought water into town.
Water was a big commodity for the Romans. They had about 14 major aqueducts, so there was never a lack of water in Rome. They had lovely fountains, they had plenty of washing. For the time, they had extremely good sanitary conditions. So this is what this area is all about. We will maybe start and we are going to work our way down to the Coliseum, and from there we will come back quite slowly.
Yeah.
Now there is a cat sanctuary there. If anyone is interested in cats, you can go there because there's a lot of cats living in Rome because of all the old ruins and so on. You know, we're only seeing the ruins, but these are incredibly old because they date back to the Republican period, which means before the time of Christ.
And then we took a look inside the church of Il Gesu, which is the mother church of the Jesuit order. It's decorated in this highly elaborate Baroque style. And then stepping back out onto the streets of Rome to continue our walking tour with Judy, looking at a pretty little fountain.
This is the fountain of the turtles, but in fact the turtles were added much later. The original fountain are these ephebes, like these young classical men holding up the fountain, then the turtles were added. But it's a very, very attractive fountain, one of the most beautiful in Rome. Can you see how they have their feet on a type of fish? But this is a motif you will see quite often in Rome. You see it a lot in Bernini's work. In the Piazza Barberini, the base of the fountain is made with this type of a fish here. The falling of water is something that you really do associate with Rome. The beautiful weather, the lapping or the plashing of a fountain, and this is probably one of the most characteristics. It's not one of the oldest, but it is one of the most picturesque. And the fountains today are still using the natural pressure of water coming down from the hills.
After a quick photo op, we walked a few blocks over to the Capitoline Hill to see the statue of Marcus Aurelius.
Just look at the statue. Of course, here he is in battle mode on his horse, giving orders to his soldiers. The veins on the belly of the horse, can you see it running down the leg? Because it's bronze, it was gilded, not much of the gold is left. Also interesting, as you came up, you may have noticed the two great statues, Castor and Pollux, the Dioscuri, who were the heavenly twins, half human, half divine. When we say forum, we mean, you know, religious, commercial, legal, political, all aspects in one, if you like. You know what I mean? You would have a temple, you would have shops, a whole commercial area, almost like a mall. First we have the Roman Forum, which dates from the Republic. After that, the emperors start to add on extra areas. So Forum is more than just temples, is more than just the Senate building, it is the city centre. Another very fine temple here, you can see it circular here with the doors in bronze. These are very rare. We've only got two other sets of doors in bronze. And in fact, if you go into that church, you go into that circular area and it is completely turned into a church. Churches are built right into the ruins of the old Roman buildings. You can see the cross there, that's the Church of St. Lorenzo. The Coliseum only took 8 years to build, which is quite an achievement. And they built it to a level of 60 metres, 4 main levels of seating inside, just like modern stadiums today. So let's go inside now. And if we feel up to it, we'll walk up to the second floor and look down on the Coliseum. It's well worth the walk. Basically what we're looking at now is the foundations, because obviously to hold up such a great structure we need deep foundations. It was for gladiator battles, gladiators with wild animals, also wild animals together, and they would start at dawn and finish at dusk. But then they would walk in fully robed, and they would walk once around the arena, they would salute the emperor, and they would say Ave Caesar, morituri te salute, meaning those of us about to die salute you, because they knew that many of them would not leave the arena alive. This arena then, egg-shaped arena, you can see that obviously it's longer than it's wide. Now the most important people sat at the lower level. Over here was the imperial box, you can see right there on the edge. So there was just a small section of seating is still standing. Just marble benches. If you want to be comfortable, you had to bring your cushion. So the women sat at the very, very top. Can you see the original travertine stone there? Now most of it was stone. A lot was built in brick and faced with marble, but that is the original travertine. It's all rough on this side, and on the other side is the fine travertine that we saw before. And there was trapdoors in the floor from which would come the gladiators and from which would come the animals. And also the word arena actually comes from the Latin word for sand, which is arena. So because they used to spread sand on the floor, this was presumably to absorb the blood. Then they would sweep it all away, and then they could make the scenery quite different. So they had a lot of activity down below.